Let's talk about why I still don't recommend BetterHelp. Okay. So, I'm going along living my life, not thinking about BetterHelp. A video pops up by, what's his name? Logically Answered YouTube channel. I'll leave a link in the description of his video that is about how BetterHelp lost 97% of revenue, I think, over a 3-year period because they're shady and I don't recommend them. Okay. He talked about a number of things in that video that I want to highlight here, but then I also want to end with some reviews from therapists and maybe 2 recommendations I have for you. I have a whole other video on what I would like you to consider before you consider doing BetterHelp, and I'm adding 2 more to this video at the end. So stay tuned. So I think first I want to start with the fact that BetterHelp operates like a technology company and not a healthcare company, which I think is part of the reasons why they don't really care about whether you get results or not, whether therapists are paid or not. At the end of the day, their goal is more revenue, to increase their stock price so that the founders, investors can make a return on their investment. That's the goal. The goal is not, right? When we go into these meetings, you're not invited into the meetings, but when you're in the boardrooms, when you're in the meetings of BetterHelp professionals, they are not talking about how can we make metrics to measure whether our subscribers, that's what they call them because they're not really clients because they don't really diagnose. How can we make it so that the metrics of the subscribers that are using are satisfied, get the results that they want, so that after a certain amount of time, they can feel satisfied with the care that they got? That is not what they're talking about. They're talking about how much more millions of dollars can we spend in marketing to attract more subscribers to get to the bottom line. That's what they're talking about. And so in Logically Answered video, he talks about, $38 million spent in 1 year on podcasts, sponsoring people. Right here on YouTube, you will see one after the other BetterHelp advertisement. You'll see a lot of your favorite YouTubers, talking about BetterHelp. In my previous video, I talked about how much of a kickback that people get every time you use their link to sign up. There is a great financial incentive for recommending BetterHelp. But does BetterHelp actually work for people? Some people, yes, but for the overwhelming majority of people, it is not a good experience. And it's not just not good for, clients. It's also not good for therapists because they are really not paid well. So let's go on. BetterHelp got in trouble for selling your information. I think this year or last year, they came out with a new policies and procedures that details, some of the things that they're doing. It is so much jargon, and the energy of it very much feels like we're not liable for anything, right? And they go on detailing, what BetterHelp does, what it doesn't do. And it's just so much professional language that the average person is not reading that. And at the end of the day, they're basically saying, good luck. We don't really care about your individual experience because they've received so much negativity and pushback that they've had to change some of their strategies. But in the end, in 2024, they're still not making the kind of decisions. As I was preparing for this video, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if in another 2 years, BetterHelp is something I'm actually recommending? Like that they've made such improvements that they see videos like this, they take the feedback and they say, you know what, maybe we should pivot to being more of a healthcare company. Maybe we should vet our therapists a little bit better. Maybe, but then they would have to go against like all of capitalism. And I just don't think they're interested in doing that. Right. So they were selling your information on Facebook. They were found guilty of it, right? They didn't admit to fault or whatever. This is like lawyer jargon. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all those things, but they had to give like millions of dollars in refunds, which I think Logically Answered said amounts like $10 a person or something like that. So people weren't really benefiting from the fact that they got caught and they had to be punished. Because if you can spend $38 million in advertising in 1 year, what is 7 million, right? To be paid as punishment for selling people's information. So there's that. They have had an increase in the number of therapists that sign up for their site. I think it is mostly because there's a barrier to entry when it comes to starting your own practice, right? I have my own practice. I started it while I was working at a company, right? I was going into a physical office 2-3 days a week and working with kids. While I was doing that and getting paid a salary, I started my business. There is we're not marketing majors, okay? And very rarely do any programs teach you how to run a business, how to scale a business. I'm not trying to scale a business. I want to work as little as possible. But how do you attract clients? How do you keep clients? Keeping clients is not difficult for me at all because I'm an excellent therapist. I'm one of the best you will ever meet. One of the things that is difficult though is how do you frame your language to attract your ideal client? That poses one of the greatest problems for therapists that are just starting, because outside of the hoops that you have to jump through to start the business, get your license, get the hours, all of those things. You set up shop now. How do I get people in the door, or how do I get people virtually? Seems to be one of the hardest things for people to do. My strategy for doing it is how I manage everything in my life. This is a spiritual sense channel. I talk to God. I ask God for direction, and that is how I frame my bio to be able to attract my clients. And so I am like perpetually full, essentially. I mean, I work 3 days a week, okay? But I have very few slots to fill people into when I am trying to get new people in, because God is on my side. Always working for me. Nevertheless, lots of people signed up as a therapist for Betterhelp. Like, I think within a 3-year span, it went from 16,000 to 34,000. The subscribers that they call, the clients on Betterhelp, I think they're now standing at right around 500,000, but they were almost at 600,000 last year or a year before. Like, they've progressively lost people. And so even when they do their big influx of marketing, right, the millions of dollars they spend on podcasts, the non-stop YouTubers that, recommend BetterHelp, which you will never find me doing unless they actually change their act, is because they're trying to attract more people. So they get the people don't stay because you have a shitty product. Okay, you have a shitty product, and if you make the product, you tailor it to what the people actually need, I bet you'll be able to keep some more people on. Okay, so one of the biggest complaints I've heard from clients is how unprofessional therapists have been. And so in his video, Logically Answered talks about people complaining about therapists who were cooking, driving, selling products. BetterHelp does not verify the credentials, not the credentials. I guess they don't, because you would send in a piece of paper and say it's a degree. They are not going through the process of contacting that school to make sure that's a real degree, right? They are not checking to see if the skills that you have are actually endorsed. One of the things I'll recommend, two things, right? Before we move on. Talkspace and Headway. Maybe growth therapy, but I don't have enough information about growth therapy. When you go looking for Talkspace's reviews, there are some really detailed reviews on how helpful the therapists have been. There is like a crunch for time, right? So if you want hour-long sessions, the 55-minute hour is the most researched and the one I would recommend the most if you have trauma, right? That's how I see my clients, weekly for 55 minutes. If you have some anxiety, some depression, you might be okay with Talkspace. If you have moderate to severe depression or anxiety, you don't need no online platform. You need to be seeing somebody in person. You need a team of people. You need somebody that is connected to a psychiatrist who can give you psychotropic medication if you need to, right? I'm telling you, you need to figure out, because these people can do more harm than good. Some of the issues here is that the therapists on BetterHelp are dangerous. And some of the therapists that I think doing the messaging and doing what the 30-minute calls that Talkspace does, their max is 30-minute calls, I don't think is enough for somebody going through a lot. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're like going to work, having, have a friend or two, you talk to your family, I think you'll be fine with any online platform. I think maybe you'll be resilient enough, even if you did BetterHelp, but I don't recommend BetterHelp, right? So Talkspace. Headway is what I use. Headway is nothing like a Talkspace or a BetterHelp in terms of the setup. But I would like you to put in your insurance information in Headway and do some research on a therapist that is in their directory. I just think being able to find other people, but also get your insurance verified to be able to be in network with people. Because one of the worst things you can do is find a really, really good therapist and then you find out you can't afford them, right? They are not covered by your insurance. I think that's just so heartbreaking when you get too deep into and then you have to tell them, actually, my sessions are $250. Okay, I give a discount of $150, but people can't afford that either. You know what I mean? Something like Talkspace is going to be less, more affordable, somewhere around the $65, $70 range. Headway is going to take your insurance. So it just depends on what your insurance cost is. If you don't have insurance, okay, if you don't have insurance, the subscriber model that Talkspace has, because I think they do accept insurance, but I just think that the $70 a session is about as low as you can get when it comes to this expertise in mental health. We also want to make sure that we're paying people what they're worth, which is what I'm going to get into next with the reviews from other therapists on BetterHelp. A lot, maybe most of the therapists that are on BetterHelp work a full-time job. They're doing this as a side, something to earn extra income. Some of them are using this as a way to funnel clients to their own business, which I don't think you're allowed to do, but I mean, if I was that person, I probably would be doing it too, because it's harder here. Okay, we're talking capitalism. Yeah. So some of the feedback from therapists who use the BetterHelp platform. This was from someone asking if other therapists on the Headway Facebook group would recommend BetterHelp, like signing up for BetterHelp. And everybody was saying no, basically. So someone asked, hello everyone, I'm curious to know if anyone is aware of the compensation rate for BetterHelp clinicians. I heard it was low, but I would like to explore it further. Someone says, here are the facts. They pay by the minute and cut off payments at 45 minutes per session. So if your session is 30 minutes, you get paid for 30 minutes. If your session is 50 minutes, you get paid for 45 minutes. Then they have a graduated payment based on hours billed. Note that's hours, not sessions. First 5 hours is $30 an hour. 6 to 10 is $35 an hour. 11 to 15 is $40. Up to $70 an hour for 40 hours and over. I would not encourage anyone to work 40 client hours. Really, it should be 32 at the most. And then the rest is for like paperwork and all that stuff. That is like the road straight to burnout if you are seeing that many clients in a week. How many do I see? I see about 5 people a day, 5 or 6 people a day, 3 days a week. That's how many I see. They pay nothing for a client's first no-show and a very small amount for each subsequent one. I think maybe $5 or $10. They also pay a few pennies per word for typed messages. So doing the math, if you see 5 people a day, 5 days a week, which is full time in my mind, your take home for that week is $660, maybe $30 to $50 for your typing. Such a ripoff. I mean, that is beyond a ripoff. That is scary, right? And so most of the people on the platform are master's level clinicians. I'm a doctoral level psychologist. But I think $70 an hour is what most master's level people should be making. I don't think you should be making $45. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think that's an insult to your experience. If you have a master's degree, you have some hours of experience in providing mental health services, you need at least $70. Yeah, someone else says, as a former client, it really gets me that the charge for members is over $400 a month to pay the clinicians $40 an hour. That's an insult. Somebody else said, don't do this to yourself. People with no degrees make more money than we make on that platform. Someone said, don't do it. I really don't know how any clinicians are on that platform. I tried it for a few months and was shocked to see my paycheck. They also promised me a sign-on bonus when I started after seeing my first client, which I saw the day my profile was active. They never paid me my sign-on bonus. I reached out over and over with no resolution. I quit the platform and for some reason still get pushed to rejoin. Even though I informed them I am not interested and to remove my name completely from the platform. It is the worst company to work for and makes me so mad how they treat providers, which is really so sad. Okay, somebody else said it's $30 an hour, but each session is 45 minutes, so it's really $20 per hour, which is good to keep in mind because since they're doing the rates based on hours, you could see 2 people for 30 minutes, and that's based on an hour in general, not number of sessions. That's the feedback, okay? I don't recommend BetterHelp. I would encourage you to explore if Talkspace would be a good fit for you, considering that they only have 30-minute sessions. Maybe consider growth therapy, but I haven't done enough research, right? Their platforms are similar to BetterHelp, but I think they are prioritizing more so the wellness of their clients versus just the bottom line. Everybody's invested in the bottom line, right? I have a business to make money, but I'm also very, very, very ethical and very, very, very invested in my clients having outcomes and are excited when they get to the point where they don't need to see me anymore. Don't think BetterHelp is operating that way. But check out Headway because they are putting some more money into their directory so that you can directly book, right? You can find somebody, book with them online, read their bio, verify your insurance before you start seeing someone so you know upfront what the costs are going to be. Maybe BetterHelp will get their act together, and in another 2 years, I'll be making another video about them, recommending them. Wouldn't that be something? I just highly doubt that they will. But you do have some other options, some other affordable things you can do. And so I hope you take that into consideration on your mental health journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with someone that you think it could help. Subscribe to my channel for more videos about how you can improve your life and your functioning so you can thrive. And thank you for watching.